Ken Trahan with Lenny Van Gilder. It's our First NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 32 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. Let's get the bad over with first. The Saints' embarrassing performance in a loss to Carolina. So many perspectives on this in terms of how to phrase what transpired, but the reality is, as I wrote, among all the things that were said and everything analytical, imaginable, that the reality is that this is a 5-8 football team. They're just not a very good football team.
Very good's being kind. This is a bad football team based on what I'm seeing, and it's a team that cannot stop the run right now. Carolina went off for 270 plus yesterday, the fifth time in the last 35 years that a team has rushed for at least 270 yards against the Saints. By the way, one of them was also Carolina 2 years ago. That right now, Carolina's the best team in the NFC South. I don't care if they didn't win a game in 2 months. Based on what I saw yesterday, and give them credit. Cam Newton's been hurt the whole year and playing with a bad ankle. You know what? They just said, we're not worried about all of that. Let's do what we do best. Let's run some read option. Let's get Cam moving in the pocket. Let's do some of the things that we do best. And they punched the Saints in the mouth. The old Mike Tyson thing. Your game plan's only good until you get punched in the mouth the first time. Well, Carolina went right down the field and scored, and then the Saints turned it over 2 of the first 3 plays, and it was game, set, match. It was just a matter of what the final score was going to be at that point, and it turned out to be a 31-point loss, which, oh, by the way, has happened a grand total of 3 times in the NFL this year for home teams.
Yeah, just a horrendous performance, and boos, and understandably so. And a team reacting to a touchdown by Cam Newton and his Superman pose. A word to the wise. If you want to stop that, then you might want to consider stopping the opponent, because your players have a tendency to celebrate too when they score, which probably doesn't sit so great with the opposition. Just saying. So as a result, the Saints are 5-8. You move on, and it's Monday Night Football against another bad football team. The Bears in Chicago. Could be a frozen tundra. It's always a bad surface. Could be wind. Whatever the case may be. These are 2 bad football teams, Lenny, and who knows what happens.
A lot of time to talk about that, but the interesting thing to me is this. You could expect it could be 10 or 15 degrees in Chicago or whatever. It's been that cold for Monday night games before. Forecast is actually like high of 42 and a low of 34 next Monday, so it might actually be balmy by Chicago standards next Monday night. Let's see if that forecast holds up, but still, at this point, conceivably, you could still win a division. Sorry, you went out. You're going to win a division. Okay, but that said, think about this. Okay, even if you win the division, you're playing probably Seattle or Arizona in the first round of the playoffs at home, and what have you earned yourself for that? Well, you've cost yourself probably about 10 picks in the draft, because making the playoffs, the worst you're going to pick, or the best you're going to pick, I should say, is number 21. If the season ended right now, the Saints would be picking 9th. So just something to think about. I'm not saying throw the rest of the season, but be careful what you wish for. If you're extending your season by a week only to get beat in the first round of the playoffs, you're going to cost yourself 10 to 12 picks in the NFL draft.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Lenny Van Gilder, headline, tank the rest of the season. Just kidding. All right, so we move forward, and let's stick with football and, of course, college football, and the bowl pairings announced. And Louisiana Lafayette here in New Orleans in the New Orleans Bowl, sponsored by R&L Carriers, against Nevada. Louisiana Tech going bowling to Dallas, where they thought they were going to go last year, the Heart of Dallas Bowl. LSU going to Nashville to play Notre Dame. And, of course, in the All-State Sugar Bowl, the national semifinal matchup is a delicious one between Alabama and Ohio State. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, let's start last first. I think the committee got the right 4 teams in. I don't necessarily agree with the process that they got to that point. Seeing rankings every week, that is a bunch of made-for-TV garbage. We didn't need to hear from them until yesterday. And they made those picks, that would have been fine. But how TCU falls 3 spots after beating a team by 50 points on Saturday, I understand it wasn't a very good team, but explain that to me. I don't get that at all. But like I say, in the end, I think they got the 4 teams that are playing the best football at this point and have a supporting body of work. These are right now the 4 best teams in the country. And beyond that, LSU Notre Dame's a great matchup. Unfortunately, it's going to be on a Tuesday afternoon at 2:00. It'll still be one of the best. You take the Big 6 games now. probably one of the 2 or 3 best matchups you're going to see out there. Outside of that, UL Lafayette, well, we knew that again last week. Nevada, that's an interesting match. These two teams are a lot alike in terms of numbers, and it should translate into a very good game on the field. And hey, Louisiana Tech, they were in position to win a title on Saturday. They had Marshall on the ropes and just could not knock them out. Marshall came back late, won that game. By the way, that's another good. Marshall and Northern Illinois are playing each other. That's going to be a pretty entertaining game as well. So that's my take on the whole bowl situation at this point. Looking forward to it. It's a great 10 to 12 day period, and of course we get to wait another 10 days after that before we see a national championship decided.
High school football, congratulations to the Jesuit Blue Jays, the Division I state champions, for beating John Curtis 17-14, 26,500 people in the Superdome on Friday night to watch it, even though it ended after midnight and started very late. Great game, and what an accomplishment by the consummate team. Jesuit is team, unquestionably, and they did a great job to get there. Congratulations also to Ouachita Christian for winning a state championship, along with Calvary Baptist and University Lab. And we've gone over it ad nauseum. The times were terrible. The fact that other games are being played around the state at the same time, taking the attention away, was terrible. Fortunately, Vic Bonifay said on our show Friday night that it was going to be changed. It needs to be changed. But the good news was they had 3 out of 4 good games.
They did. They did, and that's good. And look, while we don't agree with the whole split system, and we've both you particularly, me as well, we've spoken about this continuously. The kind of the understated effect of this thing is you've got 9 champions being crowned, and you've got 9 teams who can hold up a trophy at the end of the day. And I don't know what it says. It's more about our society now, and more people get a chance to win. The whole everyone gets a ribbon, everyone gets a trophy kind of thing. But it's good to be able to see what would happen if you took those teams and you put them and you folded them back in. Would some of them win state championships? Yes, they would. Obviously, they wouldn't all, because I think some of the teams that you're going to see play next weekend in the Dome are better than the ones you saw this weekend. And, I would say, particularly, the 5A game between Acadiana and Destrehan coming up next Saturday night, arguably the most attractive game on the card. Certainly the 4A game between Easton and Neville will be every bit as good. What would have happened if those teams that won this weekend were still playing in the playoffs with those teams? Would they be here? Well, that's, we could debate that one as well. But at the end of the day, 9 teams get a chance to hold up a trophy.
Yep, 5 more championship games, 2 on Friday, 3 on Saturday. Full coverage at sportsnola.com as we get to the non-select side of things. And they don't have any competition for the entertainment dollar or any competition for attention on the high school scene. That's a good thing. And finally, the New Orleans Pelicans. Well, we said a good enough road trip would be 1 out of 3. Well, they got 1 out of 3. They got the one you thought they might get, the Lakers, winning last night in convincing fashion after losing on the road against the Clippers and against Golden State. No surprise there, and they come home 1 game under 500 on Tuesday.
Yeah, come home to play the Knicks. Good chance to see some stars come to town. You got Carmelo on Tuesday, and you one chance to see Carmelo come in. You got LeBron coming to town on Friday. Your one chance this year to see LeBron and the Cavs come into town. So know that there, by the way, will be high school games going on across the street. So if you're heading to that one, just plan accordingly. There'll be a lot of people in the 2 buildings. So and look, this league is all about stars. So when you talk about that, it's not a slight against Anthony Davis or the Pelicans, but it is the one chance to come in and see those people. You could bet on Friday night there's going to be a lot of cheers every time number 23 touches the basketball and does something well. That's just the nature of what the NBA is. It's totally different from the NFL or baseball in that regard.
As always, it should be a great week of sports. We look forward to bringing it all to you through sportsnola.com. Don't forget Sports Nola TV, Monday night, 6 p.m. on WHNO TV 20. And Ricky Jackson will, of course, have his thoughts along with Brian Alley Walsh. And we look forward to it. That's Sports Nola TV. Lenny, it's always a pleasure. Have a good one.
All right. See you later this week.
That's our First NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank, with 32 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. For Lenny, I'm Kenny. Have a great week, and God bless you.